Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another video on this channel, Lion Unwind. I am here to entertain you, make you fall asleep. A friend of mine told me that my voice is soothing and she likes to fall asleep to it, so I made time in my day so I could record a video for y'all. Are you gonna stay awake? Are you gonna fall asleep? I guess you'll see, or you'll wake up in the morning, who knows? I'm here to talk about stuff that I think is interesting. I hope you enjoy it. So let me get right into it. The last time I talked about driving, getting my driver's license, and that I had a trip planned to an Airbnb, which I would go to with my friends, which was quite scary. Well, so now that actually happened, I can talk about it. What happened? How did it go? So last time I talked about driving with my dad and my mom for the first time and how um ghetto weird I don't know how it went was kind of scary. And what I forgot to mention was that in my dad's car, when I came back and I parked it, which cost me like 10 minutes, it was crazy, but I needed to learn. I already know how to park, but just you need to improve your skills so it can go faster. But yeah, what I wanted to say is when I parked, the light turned on for oil. So for the people that don't know anything about cars, you have these indicators, these lights that can be off, orange or red. Orange meaning, oh, you should pay attention. You should probably do something about this. And red being like, you should stop right now and like not move the car or else it's gonna explode or whatever. So the light for oil turned on all of a sudden and it was red. So not even orange or yellow, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, how I didn't even get an orange light. So where did this come from? But luckily I was already parked. So I was telling my dad, yeah, you should do something about this. Don't forget about it. Because he likes to put things off. But I don't know, I wasn't there the next time he drove that car, but apparently it was fine. He didn't change or added oil, so oh yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea what happened there. But what did end up happening is that the car doesn't start anymore. Yeah, it needs another car to, use the cables to jumpstart the car because the battery is empty. I think that's what he said. But this has happened multiple times. He doesn't use the car that often. So yeah, the battery the battery runs empty quite a lot. Maybe I can make a change in that by using his car. Anyways, let me go off this tangent and go to the Airbnb. It's quite juicy. Okay, so what happened? I ended up inviting four people. Two of those people were gonna go in the car with me, and the other two people, they couldn't make it in a specific time because they had to work or at an internship. So they came later. So we decided to meet me and the two people that were gonna drive with me. We decided to meet at the local mall. Well, for one person, she had to first commute an hour with the train to get there. Yeah, so we met there, and what first happened is so I tried to park there, and it did not really go that well. One fourth of the car was like on the line. So yeah, I didn't park between the lines, but I was like, okay, close enough. I was kind of running late because I had to mentally prepare myself to drive. And then I was also stuck in front of a red light with a metro passing by. So um, yeah, I was quite running late. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay extra attention to this. It's fine. It was kind of ghetto, and like I was scared I might get a ticket. And also, I didn't realize that the place where I parked was probably paid parking, and I didn't know that or realize that until a friend of mine mentioned it to me, and I was like, "Oh, now we gotta hurry up," because the plans were, uh, we went to the grocery store first to get some food, some snacks, and well, that was the plan actually. We ended up just dropping that and doing that closer to the Airbnb location, also with like the cooled products in mind. What we did do was we went to the mall to get a FM transmitter, I think it's called. So the car I drove in was my mom's car, and there was no port for an aux cord. So yeah, I couldn't use Spotify or anything to put music on, but the trip was like an hour, a bit over an hour. So I was like, no, I do want to do that. I don't want to have to listen to radio. So we got an FM transmitter. So what it basically does, for if you don't know, is you put it in like that spot where usually the car charger is, where you can charge your phones. You put that in there, and it sends out a signal. You put it at a certain frequency, and then you match your car's radio with that frequency. Gotta find like an empty frequency with no radio station at all, and then that serves as your personal radio station. Let me call it that, and then you can just play your music. So that's what we did. We went through a couple of stores. The people were so nice, but they didn't have it. But eventually we found it, and it was quite cheap actually. So after that, we ran to the car because of the several tickets I could receive by not parking rate and maybe not paying for parking. One thing we did before that was also get some cash because because in good old fashioned ways, the Airbnb host had some extra perks of which had to be paid in cash. So Airbnb can't get a cut of that. And that were the sauna. There was a sauna you had to pay a fee for, and I ended up invite. So first, I invited three people to come with me, and I ended up inviting one person more, like I told you, and that cost extra money, which I find to be dumb as fuck. Why is that a thing? Like you pay for a certain space, and there can fit six people in the place I chose. So, you think, oh, you'd be paying for the place and, you can fit however many people you want in there. So I could have chosen to go there with two people instead, and the price would stay the same, is what I would think. But no, why is there a per person fee? That's so dumb. Like I really don't get that. Like how is that a thing? I don't know. So you're telling me that if I went there alone, it would be way cheaper? That doesn't sound right. Anyway, so we went to the car after getting that cash, and so they have some commentary on my parking skills, which is fair. Well, only one person, because only she had a driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, you can't say shit about my driving. You can't say shit about my parking skills. You just have to deal with it. So in the car, we unpacked that FM transmitter, and we were like, it took like 30 minutes, probably 30 minutes, maybe 25, to get that thing to work. We read the whole manual. We passed it around as if it were a blunt, like, oh, maybe you can try it. Maybe you can try it. Eventually, my friend next to me got it to work, so we could finally leave. And so I drove away. So I was parked in this, I guess you can't really call it a street. I guess it was a parking lot, but it was also kind of a street with like on both sides you could park your car, and it was just one line you could drive in, so it wasn't like a big parking lot. So when you come out of there, you have to go on the main road. So I'd be waiting there for a spot where I can fit my car to, join the main road. Took some time, and then I'm still getting used to that car. So what's the word, ref? Like that car's to go around. It was so crazy. I don't know. I did some shit. It was accidental, but I did that so hard that we smelled the burnt tire in the car. You could smell the rubber being burnt. Yeah, that was not my intention. But yeah, we had a big laugh. So I guess that's that. And then it was kind of smooth sailing from there. It was a lot of highway, just just very smooth, very nice. We had the music going on. We made a playlist with all the people going to the Airbnb. Everybody put some songs into them. And like usual, I put in the most songs because I don't know, some people just only like to add a couple. You also have in these friend groups, well, they're not really a friend group. I kind of just added different people, but um somewhere in the same friend group. But anyway, that's not what this is about. I'm trying to talk about playlists because you have some people they don't like to share their music. Like imagine you're in a car with people or at a gathering, I don't know, and somebody asks, put some music on. Some people are too scared to, share their music taste, and some people love to do it and show their music to the world, I guess. And somehow I've always been that person that puts on the music, and it's not like, oh, yeah, let me put on music or something. No, they always either ask me or they all don't want to put on music. So, um, I guess there are perks in that. I wouldn't put on music that I don't want to listen to. And of course, I'm gonna only put on music that other people would like as well. Like I've recently gotten into metalcore and I'm not gonna put people up with that because some people just don't like that. But it definitely is funny to see how people react to that, put on music. But you know, people always tell me I have good music taste, so I must be doing something right. Anyway, okay, so we drive, well, and with we, I mean me, and we went to the store first. Like I said, we went to the grocery store later, closer to the Airbnb, so we shopped there for a bit, and then we went to the Airbnb. We somehow Google Maps sent us the wrong way, or we just didn't read it right. But it's just easier to blame the corporation. Am I right? Eventually, we made it. And so this Airbnb we chose, well, and with the we, I mean me again. I did run it by the people I plan on going there though. Airbnb was in the host's their garden, and it was a big ass house, like with a big ass yard, and in that yard was the Airbnb, which was basically a smaller house. It had a living room, a kitchen, two bedrooms, one with a king size bed, and the other room with four one person beds. But yeah, we got there. The host came, told us some stuff that we should know. And the first thing I did after was hook up my Wii. I took my Wii with me, my Nintendo Wii, and I hooked it up to the television. So we could play games on it, and it was definitely a good decision. I had a lot of fun. Also, like the night before, I tried to install some mods because, of course, you can't easily get all the Wii games anymore, and the Wii is kind of an abandoned console. So I tried to mod it, get more games on it, but it took so long because the usual method, um, my laptop kept saying it was a virus, and I know it can be trusted, but I just couldn't get it to work, so I had to take a more manual, longer route, which made me stay up till like 3 a.m. and still not finishing all that. So I still have to do that. I vacation now, so I do want to finish it now because otherwise, I don't know when I'm gonna do it or when I'm gonna have time or want to make time for that. I thought like, oh, then I can download Just Dance and we can do that, but unfortunately, so we played stuff like Me Party, Mario Party, um, until the other two guests arrived. We had so much fun. We danced, we played games, board games, card games, talked, and we made an hear me out cake. So that was fun. About hear me out cakes, I think some people don't really understand the assignment, or maybe I'm just too chronically online. Like, hear me out should be like, okay, hear me out. You might not agree with this, right? Oh yeah, for the people that don't know what a hear me out cake is, you have a cake, and then you let people print out pictures of people or movie characters or numbers or sometimes even concepts or whatever, of which you would say, okay, hear me out. I would date this thing, or um I find dot 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 attractive, you know. So we did that, but then you have like, I don't want to throw too much shade on, the people I love, but things like Venom, is that even a hear me out? Like, isn't everybody like, yeah, the smash? Or like, what else? I can't even remember all of them. Yeah, you had like people or characters that were already conventionally attractive. And I'm like, that's not really a hear me out, but let me not say anything. We still had fun, you know. Some of the hear me outs I threw in were King Bob-omb from Mario 64, which is basically a bomb with a mustache and white gloves, I think, and a crown on his head. Yeah, Smash. Oh, yeah, the thing that caused the most commotion that I put on was a cloud with rain coming out of it. So, like years ago, I went to this vacation park or whatever with my mom, my sister, and I think her then boyfriend. And we were just laying on the beach. Well, it wasn't really a beach, it was more of a lake. We're laying on the sand, and then it was clear as day. And then there came one cloud, one single cloud, and not even a big one. And after that cloud came rain, and I thought it was so special. Like, there's only one cloud and there's rain coming out of it. You can literally see where the rain is falling, and it's just passing by everyone. I don't know. I thought it was so special and kind of cool. You know, that's my hear me out. Like, specifically one cloud on a clear day, warm day. Also, that's a real hear me out. You hear me? Okay, so yeah, when the other people came, we did the hear me out with everybody, but yeah, we needed food. First, we thought the plan was, oh, we'll just order some, but we ended up going to the nearest store nearby, which for some reason it was only 4 minutes with the car, but if you were to walk, it would be 50 minutes, which is really crazy in my opinion. Yeah, I'm used to the city and not like small towns. So, yeah, I guess it's just different there. So we went there and we got one a a cake, a chocolate cake or yeah, a chocolate pie or whatever for the evening as dessert. And we got as meal, frozen pizzas. First we were like, oh, we're gonna order them. Uh, but frozen pizzas are just way cheaper, and you had really good frozen ones, so why not? And it was nice to just go. Yeah, so um, when I drove to the Airbnb, I of course went with two friends in a car, and the other two friends came later with another car. But when we went to the store after, so in the evening, we went with everyone in one car, and it was so much fun. We put on some some Spice, Queen of Dancehall, uh, like So Me Like It, just a bunch of turn up songs, Sexy Red, with Looking for the Hose. I don't know, it was really fun, and just being in the store with everyone. It's also so fun, like doing stuff with your friends. It's those small things in life, so corny, but it's just really fun to be with a bunch of people that you love, do fun stuff, even if it's just groceries shopping. It's just a lot of fun, yeah. And it also doesn't happen that often that I can, yeah, that I'm able to be with. so many people at once. People always have stuff to do, other plans, busy lives, you know. Also took quite something to organize everything, make sure everybody was able to come. And even with that, two people still had to work or at school or internship um, until the afternoon. Okay, so even later in the evening, the sauna. So I told y'all, yeah, there's extra fee you could pay to use the sauna for what was it, 3 hours even. And first, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that is fun. That is fun." I also wanted to do it, of course, and I still wanted to do it. But the other people, they were like, "Nah, I don't really feel like it anymore." But they felt kind of bad because I already paid for it, of course. Um, so without forcing them, yeah, they wanted to go on their own. We decided to go to the sauna, but just with clothes on because also, yeah, how are you gonna do that? Are you gonna run, well, not naked, but I don't know, with swimming clothes? Are you gonna run into there? Uh, we didn't really know how to approach it, and some people didn't account for it, that like they didn't have, I don't know, swimming wear. I don't know what they needed, but their main thing was that they were gonna feel sleepy after it and be sweaty and etc., which is all fair. I just wish I knew that beforehand, but I still used it. We still used it. We went in there, just clothed, and we stayed there for like 15 minutes. Well, me and another friend, we stayed in there for longer, while the other ones went back to the thing. It was like a couple seconds of walking from the Airbnb. It was also in the garden. It was really nice. I don't go to a sauna often. I've maybe been in a sauna 3 times in my life, which is more than some people, of course. Like I'm still grateful I'm able to go, of course. Yeah, and it was nice. We talked in there. Temperature was nice. When the other people left, I just laid there on the, well, the wood was covered with towels, but so I just laid on there. The thing was that the lights, they didn't work. Well, you had like three of these press on lights on the floor. Like you press it and then it goes on. They didn't provide a lot of light, so we also used our flashlights. Um, well, until they left, and then it was just like, okay, and we filmed a kind of parody. The rest of the R&B. Oh, did I call it R&B this whole time? I don't know. It's Airbnb, of course. Maybe I'm just in my head with uh Airbnb. Yeah, Airbnb. Wait, no, fuck. What RMB? Damn. Yeah, it just looks so much like yeah. Okay, give bed and breakfast. Airbnb, well, that's basically Air Bread and Breakfast. And R&B, yeah, okay, anyways. The rest is not really worth mentioning. We, of course, had a lot of fun, but it's, probably not that interesting to y'all. So, yeah, the next day we ate and stuff, and after that we drove home, which driving home was also smooth sailing, so I love that. Another thing was the same day that I came back, I had a concert. And I'm a big concert goer. I love concerts. I'm also fan of a lot of people. Like I listen to a lot of artists and I become a fan quickly. I usually when I discover songs of people, I just or one song of an artist that I really like, then I usually start listening to their entire discography or at least the album that it's on, and after that listening to that entire discography. So I also did that with I told you I got into metalcore, and you have this one band named Our Promise that I discovered, and then I listened to the entire discography, which really wasn't that long. You have like 6 songs out or whatever. Um, but yeah, it was really good. Okay, maybe if they have like 7 or 8 songs, maybe. So I decided to go to a concert for them. They happened to just announce that they were coming to Europe. This would be my first metalcore concert. I'm used to going to, and I was gonna say Airbnb, nah, to R&B artists, pop, I guess also rap, reggaeton, oh, well, yeah, and more actually, but not metal. It used to all be the same. So this was gonna be different. I was like, what's the demographic gonna be? Is the concert etiquette gonna be different? What will be different? So in the evening, I went there, went to so actually when I bought the tickets, it said Our Promise, that band that I wanted to go to, with Future Palace, which is another band I didn't know existed. And I thought, oh, that Future Palace band is the opening act. And it's not till I came there that I realized, when I arrived at the venue, when I realized that that band I wanted to go to was actually not the main act. It was one of the two opening acts. So I came a little bit later because things just happened and I was like, I don't really feel like going to the first opening act. So when I put my stuff away and came into the room, the first opening act was busy with their last song, I think. So I did get to hear something. Well, no, they did two songs when I came there. The first thing that really caught my eye was the demographic. So I'm used to, I guess, all ages, but a lot of young adults, maybe just normal adults, sometimes even children, but that's usually only with like the bigger artists. And by the way, this was not like a arena or a stadium. It was just like a relatively small concert venue. I don't know how many people would fit in there. Uh, 1,000 maybe, maybe 800, 600. I don't know. The demographic here was quite older. They were middle-aged white men predominantly. There were, of course, also women, but well, there were also younger guys though. But it was definitely a demographic that I wasn't used to. I don't mind, but yeah, it just caught my eye. And also the thing was, I was like, nobody's on their phone here, which is so different. I'm used to everybody being on their phone. But that was probably because it was an opening act and they didn't come for the opening act, the first opening act. Because when the main act came, I saw a couple more cameras, but it was still wasn't that many people that had their phone out. So I guess it is different. So I stood in the back basically because the room was already filled. I wasn't there. Yeah, I came in late, like I said. So I wasn't there when the line was still there. So I couldn't tell like if people came really early or that everybody just trickled in. There are these usually when I go to black artists, they have these fan bases. How early people come definitely depends on the artists and their fan bases. Like when I went to Kehlani, the line was so long. It went around multiple blocks. Yeah, it was crazy. And then with a lot of black artists, here where I live, the people of color have a reputation of coming to things late. And since when I come to black artists, their fan base is predominantly black. So when you go there, the minute that it opens, there's nobody in the line. I remember I went to Omale, which is who I don't know, the Nigerian. I don't know. I'm not gonna comment on that. But when I went to the concert there was nobody in line. We came exactly when the doors opened, and there was nobody there yet. We could just stroll in and walk to the front, barricade spots. Same was for Amaray and Black, or maybe his name as Six Leg. The line wasn't that long either. But this is only for the small venues though. When you're in a big venue or like a stadium, that shit that shit doesn't happen. You'll always have people just waiting in line. Anyway, I don't know how the lines were here. And okay, so the interesting thing was the people I came to the show for, the band, Our Promise, they started and I was like, yes, I need to go a little bit more to the front because the people in the back just weren't really moving. They were just standing. I was like, nah, I need to go where the fire people are. So I tried to squeeze my way a bit more to the front. I wasn't that close, I guess, to the middle. But yeah, they started and it was so fire. I'm so glad I went. They were so good. And the vibes, also the moves that people use are different here because yeah, with R&B music and pop and rap and whatever, Afrobeat, they all have particular moves that people use or like more mainstream moves, I guess. And here you have the head banging, of course. That was the first concert ever that I was able to head bang because and wouldn't get looked weird at. And then also another big thing that I haven't experienced yet, I guess, were mosh pits. So I remember at Burna Boy, I was at Burna Boy was probably my first real concert, and yeah, I went with a friend, and there was one moment where he asked to create a mosh pit or like a big open circle, and somehow I ended up being at the edge of that, so with my face towards the open circle, and nobody did anything. So we had this big circle and nobody jumped in because it's Burna Boy is not really a mosh pit artist. Yeah, you have certain artists that just their fan base they use that like Travis Scott. There you have mosh pits, but here it just the people weren't really feeling it. And then you also had at a Chris Brown concert, he also wanted multiple of those circles, but I don't know if his intentions were a mosh pit or that we had multiple dance battles. I guess the circle that was nearest to me, nothing happened there. So the metalcore concert, things were different. There were so many mosh pits. So there were like during the band that I wanted to see, there were like I guess five mosh pits or something. And with the first three, I was like, this is kind of cool. I don't know. I might want to experience that. I want to go into those mosh pits. But I don't know. Should I? Whatever. With the fourth one, I was like, okay, like my final chance might be soon. I don't know. Let me just with the next mosh pit, if I'm close enough, I'll go in there. I ended up not going into a mosh pit during this band, but I did scream, I sang, and it was amazing. But then the main act came, Future Palace, which I find kind of funny that that's the main act because I recently looked on like Spotify and the opening act that I came for, they have more monthly listeners than the main act, so that's kind of funny. But the main act came on and they were really good as well. And with the main act, they only did one um, easygoing acoustic song. So one chill song, and the rest, with every song you had a mosh pit. It was crazy. Literally every song a new mosh pit would start, and then between songs, okay, they would stop, and then a song would start again, and then with the hard parts, a mosh pit would form again. And I probably participated in eight. Nah, that's too much. Maybe six or seven of the I don't know how many mosh pits there were, but oh yeah, by the way, every time it was one big one at the same place. It wasn't a big venue, so but yeah, I participated in like seven of the mosh pits. And it was really fun, just being able to push and maybe it's because I'm a guy. I know a lot of girls that I know really don't like to be in there. Though in this mosh pit, well, in these mosh pits, there were multiple girls in it as well. So it wasn't only guys, but yeah, it was definitely rough. And then I remember the final mosh pit. It was so crazy. The band said, "Okay, now I want the biggest mosh pit so far." And I ended up being again on the edge of the circle, so with my face towards the opening. And I also made a picture of it. I don't know, should I? My philosophy with these videos has been that you can just listen to me talking without having, incentive to look at the screen. But for this one time, I guess I'll put a picture up of the mosh pit. And you can't see the whole mosh pit, but um, I guess you can see the situation in which I was in, which is really funny. So yeah, I was at the edge of the mosh pit, and it was bigger than all the other mosh pits. And then the drop came, and the first person went in really fast. There was one person, he did a salto or like a cartwheel. Yeah, he did a cartwheel into the circle. I was like, damn, are you trying to die? Or and then everybody else went in. And yeah, it was a lot of pushing. And this time it went so great. Like I was saying, this is so crazy. But I mentioned you went to a Travis Scott concert. I don't know how the mosh pits are at rap concerts. Yeah, maybe somebody tell me in the comments. Because I don't know if it's any different or you're watching and like, bitch, that's nothing. You've experienced nothing. Anyway, for me, I thought it was crazy, but yeah, people were not pushed to the ground, but people were pushed and thrown so much. Like some people ended up going down, kind of drowning in the people. But the people were so nice. Like even during the pushing and stuff, everybody would just grab the people that were falling onto the ground and just trying to hold them up. It was really nice. People were really considerate. Eventually, I stayed in the mosh pit the whole time, and eventually it just became painful. I guess you'd assume that would have happened earlier, but no, especially in my stomach, you had like these pains. I came out of the mosh pit and I was like, damn, I really had to recover for like 50 minutes. It was crazy. I felt like I was gonna get bruises everywhere, but it was so much fun. Like it kind of felt like a game also. Like when I would jump and just people would push you. It's like you jump and then you just get flung to the other side of the circle. It's so crazy. Oh, and we also had multiple times where people would crowd surf, like random people in the crowd would just end up above everyone and crowd surf. And he also had this one member of the band that I wanted to see. He just went into the crowd. He wanted to be part of the mosh pit, I guess. And I tried to snap a picture with him, but yeah, it didn't work out. I didn't get my phone out fast enough. His wife did like my story about their concert though, so I guess that's that. Oh, and I got put on the story of the band. So I probably got like the highest amount of story viewers I've ever had to this point. This is kind of funny. It was 1300 or 1700 story views. I don't want to sound superficial. I'm not superficial, but it's just kind of fun to see those numbers though. You also hear like people with a TikTok blowing up, having like a friend of mine had 2 million likes on a video she made, or it was 2 million views. I don't know. It's just kind of fun. It's like this surge of not happiness. So it feels kind of weird to say, but like surge of adrenaline. I don't know, just this feeling like, okay, that's crazy. I did that. Damn, what's happening? I can only assume because it hasn't happened to me. Well, yeah, with that story post because I tried to compare it to that. I assume that is how it feels. And yeah, it was kind of funny. So yeah, that was the concert. I came out of the venue with a lot of pain. No, it wasn't that bad, but yeah, it was definitely one of the most fun concerts I've ever been to. With yeah, like what would my top three be? I guess okay, so I have this well, not list of this way of deciding what concert or how to rate concerts on how fun they were. So there are multiple components. Bear with me. How I decide is how good a concert experience was depends on multiple factors. So as a avid concert goer that has a lot of experience with the concerts. So whether you go alone or with other people, that decides how fun something is. It's, I'm okay with going alone, but it's always more fun when you go with another person. Also, having to commute. with public transport is less fun than going with a car and blasting the music on the way there, like the music of the artist you're going to. Also, the fans are a big part. Are the fans cool? Are they fire? Some people turn up more than others. Also, the place where you're standing in the crowd really makes a big difference. Okay, so first, standing is always more fun than having seat. Yeah, just the vibes are just better in the standing place. Of course, you can't always stand. Like I went to a concert with my mom, and she can't. Well, she it's not smart for her to stand a long period of time. So we got seats, which it was still fun. We went to Jason Derulo. It was still fun. He's a great performer, great voice. It was just really fun. But standing in a crowd is just more fun. And then in the crowd, it matters where you stand. So um, the front is fire. Of course, that's where the biggest fans are. Then um, I guess middle front is also kind of fire. And then middle and middle back are not that fun. Actually, unless you find like a couple of people around that are really fire and dancing and singing and stuff. And then the back is fire again. So when I went to Doja Cat and I went to Raúl Alejandro, I stood in the back for a change. I was like, I don't want to come too early. I usually always have to commute commute for like an hour and a half, and they're also always in the evening, the concerts. So I always struggle with like, okay, at what time should I eat dinner? Because I don't want to go there on an empty stomach, but I also don't want to eat dinner at 5 p.m. So I came a bit later for a change, and at both concerts, it was so fiery in the back. It was so fun. You had people dancing, people in costumes. Like in the back, you actually have a chance to move. So yeah, you'll just have a lot of people dancing there. And it also, of course, depends on the venue. This is in big venues, stadiums. Yeah, but at smaller venues, the back is usually less fun, and then you should actually be at the front. Also, a big thing that decides how fun a concert is how many of the songs you know and by lyrics. So I used to always try to, well, I still do try to, learn the songs, learn the lyrics because it's just way more fun if you're able to scream the lyrics with the artist, um, sing it with them. And it's also more fun for the artists themselves. So I went to Chase Atlantic and literally everybody knew the lyrics to every song. It was so crazy. Like even the band said, "This is probably the craziest city," is what they say, "that we've ever performed for." Um, so basically, they called us the best. It's the best. Yeah. Um, yeah. What also happened with them was they were done with their set, and we went, "We want more. We want more." And I've been at multiple concerts where people did that, and it doesn't always work. I think I've experienced two times where it worked. You had Amaray, I hope I pronounced that correctly, a Nigerian artist. Um, she's from the song Sad Girls Love Money with Kelly Uchis. Get the fuck out of my way, I'm gonna get paid. Yeah, okay, anyway. I sang a little bit for y'all because I keep hearing from people that they don't know songs by name or by artists only when they hear a part of the song, which I find a little bit crazy. I get it, I guess, but I just can't imagine myself being like that. I always want to know the artist and the name of the songs, but I guess that's just me. But yeah, at her concert, people were like, we want more," and then she came and she did that song "Sad Girls Love Money" again. It was so fun. She was so good, and I was really surprised with how many people knew her songs because she kind of blew up because of that song, and she has, I guess, kind of hits, but they were definitely not as big as "Sad Girls Love Money." and just people knew all these songs, also the old songs, just like me. And again, with that point, with how the fans are, if everybody is singing along, it's so much fun. But yeah, I guess it also depends on what you like personally. I went, for example, I promise I'll come back to that Chase Atlantic story, but I went to Melanie Martinez recently, and that was really fun. I also went alone and I discovered this. I just started, dancing and singing along, trying to spot where the fire people were that were also singing along because it's kind of awkward when you're the only one singing along. So I found this girl that was kind of doing the same, and she ended up also being alone there. So we just were singing together and like, hey, why did you come here alone, etc. Her reason was she kind of decided to come last minute and she didn't have anyone to go, but she did want to go, so she went alone. That's basically me every time, except the last minute part. But yeah, if nobody wants to go, then just go alone. I swear, this is your sign. If you have nobody to go with and you want to go to that concert alone. You'll probably either meet people there. I've had multiple concerts where I went alone that I met people. I've also went to concerts where I didn't meet people even though I went alone, but you'll still have a fun time, I promise. Maybe the first time you go alone, it can be you can have this feeling of like, oh yeah, I wish I came here with somebody else. But you'll get over that. You'll be singing and you'll be like, "Oh damn, I'm so happy I went." Also, you also have like Facebook groups and whatever of people that also want to go alone, and then you can find somebody to go with anyway. Like if you're worried about safety or anything. But yeah, so Amaray, she came back after the We Want More, and Chase Atlantic also came back after the We Want More. We did like We Want More for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and the same volume the whole time, the same rhythm the whole time. We were persistent, and they already told us that they really loved us. They really, really fucking loved us. We were also the first show of their tour, so maybe that made them have even more. I assume you have more energy with the first shows and the last shows. They came back and they did not do one extra song. They did not do two extra songs. They did not do three extra songs. They probably did like six extra songs for us, and not just some, I don't know, mid tracks of albums like sketchy songs or whatever. No, they did hits that they didn't perform during the normal set. I appreciated that so much. Like, of course, I know the other songs of the albums, but there were songs that were not on the set list, and they did that for us. I felt so appreciated. The whole crowd went crazy. It was so much fun, and definitely one of my top concerts. Also, what was funny, I went to that concert. It was in a different city than I grew up in, etc. And literally everyone from my high school was there. I was like, I kept seeing people that I knew, and like, hey, are you here as well? Hey, are you here as well? And then of course on the way back home, everybody had to get the same train. So in that train, you saw everybody that you knew. It was so funny. But yeah, so my top three based on the criteria that I mentioned would probably be The Weekend on number one. And this is such a bad top three. You're supposed to start with your number three, but I'll just go with what's the most easily decided for me. Like, don't underestimate how important knowing the lyrics is for having a fun time. Of course, you can go to a concert and have a fun time without knowing the lyrics. Also with like very small artists, maybe you see like, oh, somebody is performing at this really, really small venue. Maybe we should go have a listen. That can still be fun, of course. But really, with concerts, if you know the lyrics, the amount of fun it adds to your experience is so vast. It adds so much fun. So with The Weeknd, he's been my number one artist on Spotify Wrapped for literally every year that I've used Spotify. Yeah, so I knew basically every song that he sang, every lyric, and it's just so much fun. Also with like the people in the crowd looking at you when you know those sketchy songs or songs where the lyrics goes really fast. Also fun. I feel like I've said fun like a lot take a shot every time I stood. Sorry. Then also, I stood in the front, almost barricade. I waited for like 8 hours in line. That was crazy. I probably would only do that for the weekend and for Janae Aiko. Those are the only people I would wait in line for hours and hours. I tried to sing that song hours and hours, but I have no idea how it goes. So I'm just not. Well, so yeah, I knew the lyrics. I stood in the front with fire people, and I came with a friend of mine, and I also came by car. So we listened to his music on the way. So those are oh yeah, and that's standing spots. So those were literally all the criteria points. They were all the highest. So for the rest of my top three, I don't know. Um, I really liked, the metalcore concert I went to, but I didn't know all the lyrics and I didn't even know the main act. Before I went to the concert, I did look up the main act and listen to a couple of songs, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is fire." But that's not enough time to learn the lyrics. So, I guess the rest of my top three would probably be maybe Chris Brown. So I really liked his the latest album that came out back then was Indigo, and I loved almost every song on there, knew every lyric. And so I was ready for that concert. I was like, oh yeah, but it ended up being an Eras tour, kind of where he did like songs from every year. So every time period he did a couple of songs from. And I listened to Chris Brown a lot, but I did not know all those songs. So I kind of felt like an imposter there. I had Golden Circle tickets. So I was standing with the fire people. I was really up close. There was only one person in front of me and then the barricade. Which I still had fun, but I couldn't sing, as much along as I wanted. Yeah, that's also a component. The performer. Is the performer, how is the stage presence? The weekend had a lot of stage presence. And Chris Brown, damn, that's probably the most stage presence I've had with a concert so far. Like the dancing, all the dancers on the podium, everybody was so amazing. Yeah, and I also went with another person, and we went there by car again. It was the same person I went with when going to the weekend. Oh yeah, also with the weekend that I wanted to mention is when I stood in line. If you stand in line for, an artist that you love, it is really fun. We met a couple people, internationals, in line, and we played card games with them, and it was so fun. And we're still friends. And with one of the people I met in line with the weekend, I actually ended up going with to Black, so Six Leg, yeah, to his concert with. So that was really fun. And then my number three to finish with, and probably also marking the end of this video is I have no idea. I really liked O'Malley. I really like Doja Cat, though I didn't know every song from those two albums that she did. Melanie Martinez was cool, but she also didn't do all the songs that I knew. Post Malone was also really fire, but I had seats and they were all the way in the back. But I did go there with another person. But I do think that my number three would be yeah, Chase Atlantic because the people were so fire. I was kind of in the back. That didn't matter that much because literally everybody was turned up. But I also came with two other people, and this happens, or this has happened almost every time that if I come with more than one person, or even if I just come with one person, I end up getting separated from them in the crowd because I'm kind of tall and the people I went to concerts with are smaller. So people are trying to get in front of me all the time. So even, oh my God, even at the Chris Brown concert, there was this lady and she kept tapping on my back, like waiting for me to turn around, probably to ask for, oh, can I stand in front of you? No, no, you can't. You should have been here earlier. With Chris Brown, we stood in line for 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 hours. And it was so dumb because it rained and we were like, we don't want to waste time on getting a locker so we can put our jackets in there. So we just ended up going with vests and it was so cold. But yeah, we made it and we stood pretty close. So we sacrificed a lot. So no, I'm not gonna let you go in front of me, bitch. You should have been here earlier. I'm sorry. And I used to go to concerts and like feel kind of self-conscious about being tall, so I kind of go through my knees a little bit. But yeah, I stopped doing that. Like one, that's painful, and two, like I guess I stopped giving a damn. Yeah, it also depends on your height, of course, where you should be standing. Like in the back, I could still see everything, and then I'd also not feel self-conscious about my height because there's nobody behind me, or there are people behind me, but they can easily go in front of me, so they can't complain about it. But where I was getting at was the getting separated from the people. So at Chase Atlantic, I came with two other people, and people were just going in front of me, and at the end, I was like, that sucks because when you're with other people, it's fun to sometimes sing together, look at each other, sing at each other, and you can't do that if you're separated. But at Chase Atlantic, I didn't really mind because the show was so fire. And then with Chris Brown, I also got separated, kind of. And with The Weeknd, I also got separated multiple times, which was very annoying. And so I don't know what y'all know about manifestation, so I'm not gonna try explain it, but if you don't know. But I started like manifesting, yeah, I wanna go back and be reunited with my people, because the bridge between us kept increasing. So what ended up happening was there were two times of which a person from the back would come towards the front and people would get so mad because you have people here that stood in line for I don't know how many hours. Then you have somebody from the back that's trying to come to the front. Like, no, 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 no. So people were people were gonna start a fight, trying to get security to come here, and eventually we both times that people did that, we bullied them away, I guess. And during that commotion, I was able to be reunited with my people. Yeah, I guess, no, I didn't even have to do that much with scooching towards them. But it was mostly the people that caused like these ripples of people that have to move because they have to make place for that person, which made me able to get to my people again. So that I was really grateful for that. And then with the songs that mattered most, I was with my friends. So for if you know, with The Weeknd, his song After Hours and Moth to Flame were crazy sing-alongs. But yeah, one final thing that I want to mention as a tip, if you're a fan of an artist, if you want to get merch, well, this is what I've heard. I haven't really tested it, but I I think it's cheaper to go get the merch at the concert because of shipping. Especially if you're in Europe, because for example, I bought the weekend merch and it had to be shipped from the UK, but since the Brexit, you have to pay more import costs. So yeah, that was not yeah. Anyway, it's probably cheaper most of the time to get it at the concert, but if you want to get that merch, if you have seats, you should probably do it at the beginning of the show so you have a higher chance of it not being sold out of your size. And if you have standing places, you should try. Okay, it depends on where you want to stand. If you want to stand as near to the front as possible, then you should, get the merch after the concert is done. But if you don't mind staying in the back, then you should also just do it at the beginning of the show. And then for the end of the show, what usually people do is what you should do is as soon as the artist walks off stage, you should leave, to get out before the crowd. But it really depends on if you want to get home quickly, though. If you don't care at all, then I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, if you start hearing people scream, we want more, you should probably hold out a little longer. Try, maybe you can get a couple more songs out of it. But yeah, you should get a bit of a feeling for when you should leave. Like, especially if you have stuff in a locker, you can get stuck with lockers for a long time, especially if a bunch of people are in the front and you're thinking, I should have went here earlier. I could have already been out of the building. So yeah, just keep that in mind to not stay too long. Maybe near the end of the song, try to get a bit more to the back, I guess, especially if you have to go home with public transport and you have to catch a train, then maybe you should. I will never though leave during the last song to catch a train or whatever. That's not worth it in my opinion. I mean, I paid my money to go to the concert, see the artist. I'm gonna sit all the way through. Like also with that Chase Atlanta concert, a couple other friends of mine also went, not with me, and they said they went they were hungry, so they went to the I don't know, to a fast food chain or whatever. They went to get food, like not even during the end song, but the concert wasn't even finished, and they also missed the whole "We Want More" and then the other six songs. I think that's really a waste. Anyway, um, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say and and maybe even learned something. Again, this is your sign to go to a concert alone if you really want to go and you can't find anybody to come with you. And I said at the beginning of the video, maybe you stay awake to hear what I have to say. Maybe you fall asleep, and that falling asleep was my goal. But maybe I have to pivot from that because otherwise you would have missed these beautiful tips. So yeah, I thank you to listening to Lie and Unwind. Yes, I learned what the name of my channel is. Unlike the last video in which I forgot what my channel was called, I'm getting there. I even had a more proper intro this time. Aren't you proud of me? Next time, we'll probably talk about my Christmas, how I almost got into a car crash, and another birthday party I went to. Oh my God, I didn't even wait, no, I went to I went to two birthday parties. So I'm gonna talk about both of those and maybe some other stuff happens during that time period. Oh yeah, also how my bicycle broke down like three times in the span of a week of me getting that bicycle. Yeah. Okay, thank you for watching. I've been cosplaying as an elf this whole time. I have this thing on my head. I thought like, oh, that's a bit festive, even though Christmas has already passed. But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.